Another area wherein HR professional will have to focus is on changing organizational behavior. Friends understand that the least of this will not do in this abnormal situation. The management will have to accept the moment of reality and accordingly must be to work out the strategy that could be suitable in the new normal situations. We must be focusing on skilling and reskilling. That's very important because the strong purpose and value driven evolving culture is very vital, wherein the employees may have confidence, and because of this strong culture, they could be in a position to come out from this pandemic. Another area that I think is very vital, wherein HR professional will have to focus to come out from this is the talent management. Talent is very important. Talent management, not in this situation, in the past, present, and in the future, should be concern of HR professionals, and hence the new normal, rebooting the work descriptions, work design, performing management, travel, health and safety focus, compensation and benefit guidelines. The employer will have to be creating a position of different branding. Then only they could be in a position to attract the good human power within the organization. Not only that, the HR manager again must have this strategy to have virtual work practices, flexible timing to customize talent within and outside the organization, and that could be very key to the success of any organization. Today, we are looking for the human resource that has the ability to work or to adopt the business to handle the risks and challenges of global. The focus would be on skilling of talent and digital performs a system with leadership, competence of resilience and high adaptability quotient, without which tackling this situation perhaps could be very, very difficult. Well, in addition to that, the HR manager again will have to think strategy regarding the reopening of their business establishments because this pandemic may not be continuing forever, and hence there must be a strategy to align with the government commitments. Because whenever there is a reopening, the government may come out with policy, the government may come out with a framework. So the strategy of the HR professional must be in line with the government policies and that they have
Sir, voice is not clear.
Am I audible? Can all of you hear me out?
Not clearly, sir.
There could be some technical glitches from my side. Anyway, and last point that very relevant in this new normal is understanding the new laws and its compliances because the government may be coming with new amendments, new guidelines, new laws that must be understood by HR professionals in a better manner. And compliances could also be very wide. So these are the areas, friends, on which HR manager will have to focus. They must have the right strategy through their strategy. They will help the overall manager in coming out from this situations. And again, the company will start working as a normal entity. So this is all about for my side. I'm open to take any question that may be coming from your side. I invite the audience to introduce your question, please, if any.
Thank you, sir. Participants, if you have any queries, you can ask your queries.
Sir, I have a
Any
question.
queries from participants?
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Sir, like during our, as a student of HR or as a faculty of HR, we always think of employee motivation, employee retention are very key
Right,
factors for any industry actually. So,
right.
so don't you think that this employee retention and motivation also applies for colleges? Because what I have felt is there is lack of this point in the colleges actually. So what do you have to say on this, sir?
Friends, yours is a very valid question. And therefore, there is a debate discussion on motivation of human resource. Because not only for the business world, this motivational discussion is including all entity, including the educational institutions, universities and colleges. Because if the faculty, teachers, students are motivated, then only they could be in a position to deliver. So motivational strategy must be practiced across the globe in every walk of life, starting from the home to the business world and the government. Your question is very genuine. There has to be motivational packages, motivational strategy, motivational incentives practiced in almost all the educational institutes, including the colleges and universities, so that the teaching faculty as well as the students could be highly motivated, they could be much more creative, they could be much more innovative, and they could be delivering to the highest possible level. Your concern is very genuine, your question is very valid. In response, I have to say motivational strategy must be practiced across the board, and not excluding any institutions. Because whenever HR professionals discuss motivational strategy, it is not for business only, it is not for university only, it is for everybody. Because whenever human power works, whenever employees works, they are required to be motivated. Because if they are motivated, then only they could be in a position to deliver to their potentialities. I think that will satisfy your questions. Thank you. Any supplementary questions and any other questions from any quarter?
Yeah, sir. Thank you for that. So even I feel that should be a system for that, sir. Like, but we don't have it right
You know,
now. There should be, yeah,
there are,
to so that
yeah,
because there is high
first,
attrition rate in colleges, sir.
yeah, that's true. That's true. There's a lack of motivational schemes in the colleges, in the universities, and the managers or the management must rethink to have a good
Yeah,
schemes by which a good talent could be retained.
yeah,
You
yeah.
are very right,
Because
sir.
what because for that is the problem that we are not able to get a good quality in education. I mean, like people, their first preference always remains industry. They don't
That's
think
true.
this profession as a lucrative profession.
You are absolutely right. That's the perceptions in India, for that many other countries also. And this is the last choice because of the reason you have explained. You are very right. You are
Yes.
very right.
Okay, sir.
Other
Thank you
questions?
very much.
My pleasure. Any other questions from any
Yeah,
quarter? Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
sir. I have a
Yes,
query here.
ma'am.
So we are all talking about new normal. So as
Right.
an HR manager, they also have a lot of changes in their working style because of the work from home and different types of online apps and technology which they need to use as well. So, what do you think? What are the pressures? How, I mean, they must have a pressure for the HR management to track the work style and to track the employees' performance and everything. So, how do you find it? How they can cope as an HR manager, and how do you find the changes because of these in the working style of human resource manager?
Very, very good question. Very pertinent questions. Ma'am, whenever there is a extraordinary situation like this, there has to be extra pressure, there has to be extra tensions. And all we agree that present situation is extraordinary, abnormal. And hence there's extra pressures on the HR manager as well. Because the new normal, earlier normal thing is no more the normal. There's a new normals. So herein HR professionals must have to chalk out the strategy by which on the one hand they could be in a position to supervise the people, the worker who are working from the comfort zone of their home. They have to communicate very effectively. There is a need of very effective internal communications on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, monthly basis. regarding the different aspects that is taking shape within the organization, outside the organization. At the same time, they also have to interact with them, giving the confidence about their safety and their security. That's very important because some of you earlier raised the question of motivations. So this is how they could be in a position to convince their workers who are working from the home, sharing the views, something good that is happening in the organization, so giving the opportunity to celebrate the success, etc., etc. At the same time, now today the HR manager will have to think of changing the strategy of training. And this was not for the first time in the past also. This will be happening in the future also because HR manager must be good in managing the change because we are working in a very very dynamic situation. The environment in which we functions is changing very often, and hence so HR manager must be ready and must have the strategy to cope up with the changing situations that demand different skillings, different adaptability. So the keyword here could be new learning and adaptability, wherein the focus of HR manager could be there. Right now, your question is related how to monitor, supervise the worker who may be working from the home. What could be the mechanism by which they could be communicating with them? How to motivate them? How to give them the assurance that their safety, security would be taken care of, etc., etc. So these are the areas wherein HR manager must intensively communicating with the staff. Internal communication must be effective. They must reassure, even though you are working from the home, you are valued, your contribution is immense because of you. Company is surviving, sustaining, growing, etc., etc. And they must think in terms of the strategy by which new skills could be acquired today and in future also. So these are the areas wherein HR manager, while taking proactive steps, could be in a position to be connected with the staff. They could be in a position to motivate the staff. They could be in a position to create some kind of confidence in the staff. And this is very vital in today's situations. Yes, ma'am.
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
due to COVID-19, many have lost their jobs.
Hmm.
So, in that case, what are the opportunities are available for them, sir? That is my question.
Yeah, very good questions, ma'am. My response could be hope, hope, and hope. Because if there's a hope, we can survive. Because the fact of the matter is, presently the job market is very down, and this is not the case only in India. This is the case of across the globe. But situation could be turning, and hence you may have the scope to get the job. So right now you have to hope. You must believe in yourself, and when the situation become normal, certainly you could be getting a job because the positions is the job market is very down. There's no much job. Whether you like it, you may not like it. So you have must believe in yourself. You must have the confidence, and where the situation to come back to the normal. And if you have the skills, ability, hope, confidence, certainly you could be getting the job. No problem at all.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, ma'am.
And
Yes, yes.
from Lord's Institute of Engineering and Technology, I would like to thank you, sir, for giving
Ma'am,
briefing about
I do have a
what are
question.
the
Can I?
opportunities.
Yes, yes,
Okay, okay.
please, please.
Yes,
I think
It's a
somebody
very
want to
good.
raise questions. Yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Very good morning, good afternoon, sir.
Good
Good
afternoon. Good
morning, in
afternoon.
fact.
Yeah, good morning.
My question is, like, technology is very advancing these days.
Hmm.
Everyone is being digital. What about the future of HR?
Uh, Future
If
of HR
if
is
the machine
go ahead.
replaces human, then what may be the future of HR?
Yeah, I think the future of HR is very bright.
Yeah.
Even though there is a technological advancements, but those technology has to be used by the human power only, by the human resources only. So today and in coming days, the positions of HR could be very strategic. They will be helping the organization in designing the strategy that will help the business in success, growth, expansion, and helping it realizing the goals. So, as far as your question is concerned, I don't think any fear in the mind of the HR professionals because of the advancements of the technology, because human resource is going to play a very big role in future also, even though there could be technological advancements. If you are going back 50 years, 100 years back, when there was a computerizations, there was a lot of fear, a lot of debate, a lot of discussion, what will happen to the human resource, what will happen to the HR. And you can see what is the positions today. In fact, today the HR personnel is in a much more strategic positions. So that will continue in the future period also, in spite of the advancements that may be taking place in the technological area. So there is no problem, no fear at all in the mind of the HR professionals. They could be much more strategic in future.
Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
sir, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Question.
Sir, what are the challenges a student has to face in this pandemic, sir?
Huh. Challenges could be adaptability, new learning and adaptability. This is the challenge today. This could be the challenge in future, and this was the challenge in the past also, to learn new things, new ways, and to adapt to the situation. That's very important, because as the title of your seminar is very relevant, the new normal. It was not the case 2 years back. So you have to adopt yourself. You have to be very creative. You have to be very innovative. You have to be very dynamic. And more importantly, you must have the hope and passions and confidence in you. So with that feeling of creativity, innovations, learning new things, and adapting to the situations, you could be fit at any time. So these are some of the lessons students must learn to learn new things, and must have the ability to adapt to the new situations, because this situation is not going to continue for a longer period of time. Again, there could be new normals, and again you have to adapt to that particular situation through new learning. So new learning and adaptability are the key to the success of anybody, including students.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, other questions, please. Any other interactions, questions? I really feel privileged to be the part of this
Anybody?
August gathering.
Any queries? Shall I close the question and answer session?
That's your choice, ma'am. I'm here to take maximum possible questions.
Okay,
If
sir.
there's no questions, so you can take a call, no problem.
Okay, sir. On behalf of Lord's Institute of Engineering and Technology, I would like to thank you, sir, for your wonderful session on opportunities and challenges in human resource, and also giving inputs us in human resources, and what are the challenges right now we are facing, and what are the opportunities are available in human resource. This was wonderful, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for spending your valuable time and giving time to us and spending with us, sir. Thank you, sir.
My privilege. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Okay. Now the session will start with Professor Ravinder Rena, sir. So I welcome you, sir, to the session. Now I would like to invite J. Jayalakshmi ma'am to read profile of Professor Ravinder Rena, Northwest University, Mahikeng, South Africa.
Thank you, ma'am. Professor Ravinder Rena is a profound academician and distinguished scholar in economics, writer, editor, advisor, motivational speaker, and public intellectual with over 29 years of teaching and research experience in Asia Pacific, Africa, and European continents. He has been an independent consultant and training expert. Professor Rena is currently working as Professor of Economics at NWU Business School, Northwest University, South Africa. He also served as a adjunct professor of economics for master's and doctorate program at Monash University, Switzerland. He previously worked as professor of economics at Department of Economics, University of Cape Town, South Africa. Professor Rena earned his PhD from Department of Economics, Osmania University, Hyderabad, India, with the achievement of University Gold Medal for the best PhD
candidate thesis in the field of economics, commerce, business management. He obtained his MA, B.Ed, MPhil, PhD from Osmania University and BA LLB from Kakatiya University, Warangal, India. He bragged many awards, prizes. To name a few, he got the prestigious award of the Best Researcher 2011 from Nimbia University of Science and Technology, and also the recipient of esteemed award Man of the Year 2012, which has bestowed upon him by the American Biographic Institute, ABI, USA. He served as the chairman of panel of judges for economics of Global Undergraduate Award based in Dublin, Ireland, UK, etc. He wrote 10 books and published more than 130 articles in reputed national and international peer-reviewed journals and 35 book chapters to his credit. He is a founding editor-in-chief of an international journal of education and economics and development, and associate editor of African Journal of Science, Technology, Innovation and Development, which are IBSS and Scopus Index Journal, published by InterScience UK and Taylor and Francis UK respectively. He served as an editor board member for many reputed journals. He has also been a keen external examiner, moderator for masters and PhD of different universities in Africa, Europe, Asia, America, and Australia. He traveled to 40 countries in the world. We are very happy and blessed to have you with a vast experience. So thank you for for addressing us all today. Now I would like Professor Ravinder Rena to start the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction, Madam Ji, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen across the globe, particularly from Hyderabad. I'm indeed privileged that I'm part of this particular conference, which is coming from the soil where I come from. So that is how I'm connected more with this particular land, Hyderabad. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank the Lord Institute of Engineering and Technology for bringing me in, particularly for this international webinar, and which is also jointly collaborated by the Dhaka International University. And I would like to thank the principal of the college, the Lord's Institute, and the associate professor, the head of the department, Dr. Syed Hamid Qadri, who is in touch with me for the past few days to bring me in. I also would like to thank the participants, not only from different parts of India, but also from Bangladesh, from Pakistan, maybe South Africa, and many other countries. I should also congratulate the conference organizers for bringing an important and a pertinent, a timely topic, managerial challenges and opportunities during the new normal. So today, my presentation would be comprising of three different parts. In the first part, I would like to cover, because we are still under the lockdown situation, and we are also under new normal and abnormality situation, in fact, for the past 16 months down the line. Now, I would like to touch upon the history of the pandemics. That would be in the first part. And then I'll also touch the economic situation in the globe, the economic situation in India, and so on. So that would be my second part. And the third part, what is this new normal stands for, and what is going to happen probably in the near future. So those are some of the salient features that I would like to touch upon in the interest of time. In the first part, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that pandemics are not new to us, new to the world. The world has been experiencing these pandemics from time to time on regular basis. Historically, even if you go back to 5,000 years ago, that's where the human civilization has started. Indus Valley civilization or Sumerian civilization, Egyptian civilization, all those civilizations are developed particularly for about 5,000 or more than 5,000 years ago. Even those days also we do have pandemics. A pandemic that was also come up after the Roman Empire, or the Roman soldiers who defeated the world and they become victorious. And during that also there was a pandemic. And in 179, 180 AD, about plus minus 1800 years ago, there was also a pandemic. Particularly a pandemic I would like to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, is I don't know how many of us we heard or read about Black Death. A Black Death is basically a plague disease which was cropped up in the world. It was sometime around 1346 to 1353. So about 7 years period, ladies and gentlemen, that particular plague disease has killed almost 40% of the population living on this planet. So one can imagine the situation. Plague disease nowadays, we can cure it. It's not that dangerous as such, but we can able to cure the disease. The same plague disease, which is popularly known as Black Death, that has killed 40% of the people on this planet, which is about the population of the world 700 years ago, was less than 450 million people actually. 450 million people, that is probably one third or maybe 32% of the population of India today. So that was the population of the world 700 years ago. Now, out of that 450 million people, ladies and gentlemen, close to, one can imagine the situation that about 180 million people got killed by that virus, ladies and gentlemen, plague disease, I mean. So that is one of the human catastrophe that we ever experienced, or the world has experienced until today. That is the biggest catastrophe that we have seen. And then we got the Spanish flu. A Spanish flu has taken place about 100 years ago, starting from 1918 to 1920, about 3 years period. The Spanish flu also killed more than 50 million people in this world. So meaning that we have a situation where the diseases, pandemics are keep killing the people from time to time. Now, where this Spanish flu come from? Is it related to Spain, or is it related to any Spanish-speaking countries? That is the fundamental question one can ask here. It is nothing to do with the Spain, but it is originally started in USA. That was immediately after World War One. As we all know that World War One has taken place during 1914 to 1918, about 4 years period. The World War One was ended. And as a result of World War One, more than 33 million people got killed across the globe, ladies and gentlemen. And with a lot of fatalities, a lot of casualties, and so on and so forth. So immediately after that, the American soldiers who returned from this World War One, they begin to have some peculiar symptoms, flu symptoms, and that flu symptoms begin to kill the people 100 years ago. That was indeed started in USA and gradually spread to different corners of the world. Like what had happened today with the Wuhan province, the virus has started in December. And that is why it is popularly known as coronavirus disease 2019. So similar way, 100 years back, it was started in USA and gradually spread across the globe. But the popularity, the widespread coverage was given by the Spain in the newspapers and whatever media that they have that time, and they were giving the popularity. They were trying to cover this news on regular basis. So that is why it is linked with the Spanish flu. Otherwise, it has nothing to do with the Spain. So I wanted to clarify on that, ladies and gentlemen. And so the Spanish flu, how many people got infected by the Spanish flu that time? It was 500 million people, ladies and gentlemen. What was our population about 100 years ago? We were not even 2 billion people, actually. The first 2 billion population in this world we experienced was 1804. So 1804 is about probably a little more than 217 years ago. And if you look at the population of this world, ladies and gentlemen, about 2021 years ago, first century AD, our population was less than 250 million people. Now, 250 million people, Pakistan is getting close to 250 million people actually. In the year or two, we'll get up 250 million people. In Indonesia, it's the population of today in Indonesia is more than 270 to 80 million people actually. So the population of the world of Indonesia today, the population of the world 2021 years ago was less than that. Now, one can imagine the situation that our first billion we had on 1804, that is the first billion. The second billion we experienced in this world was 1927. The disease occurred, the Spanish disease or the Spanish flu, taken place between 1918 to 1920. So what does that mean? Before 7 years that we became 2 billion people in this world, the disease was occurred. So the population by and large, it could be about 1.6 billion people that time, ladies and gentlemen. So out of 1.6 billion people, 500 million people got infected by this disease, Spanish flu. As I indicated to you that there are 50 million people got killed by this virus, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Mahatma Gandhi, father of the nation of India, who was living in and working in South Africa for almost 2 decades, 20 years he worked, starting from 1896 until maybe 1917 or somewhere there, he was working here. So when he comes to India, that time from South Africa, he also got the Spanish flu. That means the coronavirus that we are experiencing today, Mahatma Gandhi also got it. But luckily he was saved. He was not been died. So if we died, then the situation of India would have been different. We do not know what would have been happened to us. So Mahatma Gandhi, in addition to Mahatma Gandhi, there are also so many people, those who are fighting for the independence struggle, even in Hyderabad also, probably during the Rajakar movement, and there are other movements during the Nizam administration. There are also so many kind of, problems occurred, and the disease also killed a lot of people. In India alone, ladies and gentlemen, the Spanish flu killed between 17 to 80 million people. So meaning that out of 50 million people got killed in the world, 17 to 18 million people killed by the Spanish flu 100 years ago in India alone, ladies and gentlemen. So that speaks a lot about us. Now, Bombay is the worst hit place 100 years ago also. So this is the history of the pandemic. And thereafter, we have so many other diseases keep coming. SARS, we all heard about severe acute respiratory syndrome, 2003, about 17, 18 years ago. SARS we have experienced, bird flu, swine flu. There are so many other Ebola and so on and so forth. From time to time, we've been experiencing that. So, which means that the pandemics in this world are not new. It's not a new normal for us. It is the old normal. It is part of our lives that we've been experiencing from time to time. Now, today, on 24th of June, 2021, we are talking about the coronavirus disease, COVID-19, for the past 16 months, particularly, starting from March 2020. So what is happening in the world? And we have seen that as I indicated to you just now, Wuhan province of China, that's where the problem started. In some of the meat market or vegetable market, and there are people, they eat everything that they find on the planet. So different stories we are hearing, we are reading, we are experiencing, but I'm not going to go into the details of that. I'm going to talk straight that the Spanish flu, the COVID-19 started in Wuhan province, December. That was about 1.5 years ago. About 18 months ago, the problem started. I was in Hyderabad during 2020, January, and though the problem was already started, we began to read something, but the problem was not widespread that time in India or any other part of the world. I was traveling to more than 27 conferences during December to part of February 2019, December to 2020, February. I was traveling to more than 27 conferences across India for those 2 months' time. And Jaipur to Bombay, Bombay to Chennai, and Chennai to Bhopal, and so on and so forth, Bhubaneswar, and so on and so forth. So when the disease was already started, thank God India was not affected, and I was also traveling frequently. I was in Hyderabad, the Rajiv Gandhi International Airport on every day by day, actually. Maybe every alternative day, I was there in the airport, traveling to different corners of India. So that time, though the problem was there, but we are still safe. I was also safe. And until today, thank God that thanks to Allah that we didn't have any kind of problems from my side. So this is what the personal experience I would like to talk about. Now, when I left India sometime in February 2020, and immediately when I come here, and when I landed in Johannesburg Airport, International Airport in South Africa, they begin to test our temperatures. If the temperature is high, they're asking us to remain in the plane. So that's when I realized that there's something is wrong here. When I also remained at Dubai International Airport, and people were also trying to check and they're trying to maintain the distancing. So I realized the kind of effects of the COVID situation that time in February already. But March 12th, March 12th, 2020, that's when WHO, World Health Organization, declared this as a global pandemic. And 6th of March, that is the first case we found in South Africa. So that was probably about 15 months ago. Now, today in South Africa, the infection rates went up to close to 1.9 million people, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that is absolutely massive figures, where the population of South Africa is only 60 millions. That means that Indian population is 20 times bigger than the South African population. Even any state, maybe Uttar Pradesh has got more population than South Africa as a country, ladies and gentlemen. So in South Africa today, I just would like to touch upon the today's situation in the globe about the coronavirus pandemic. As we just discussed, and we have seen what had happened in the world probably 2000 years ago, or maybe 100 years ago, and so on and so forth. Now let us look at the situation today. As of today, according to the statistic that is available on 24th of June 2021, we got 179 million people got infected so far by this pandemic. We are getting close to 180 million people, ladies and gentlemen, within this 15 months' time. Now, how many people died in the world, as statistics reveal, that may not be true reflection of the ground reality, that we got close to 3.9 million people, getting close to 4 million people got killed by this virus. The number one country, which is also the largest economy in the whole world, which we'll come back to that little later, is America. America has got more than close to 34 million people got infected in America alone. So that is half of the population of South Africa. Now, out of that 34 million people in USA, California, New York, and maybe Washington, D.C., and many other major cities are badly infected and affected. Now, from that 34 million people, ladies and gentlemen, more than 6 lakhs people, 600,000 people got. Now, we got the second country is none other than India. So India, we got more than 30 million people. We are getting close to. We are going to surpass America very soon. So India has got more than 30 million people got infected by this virus, and about 4 lakhs people died by this virus, ladies and gentlemen. The third country, none other than Brazil, where we got infection rate of 18 million people. And how many people died? The death rate in Brazil is more than India. So meaning that in Brazil, more than 500,000 people died. So the list goes on, ladies and gentlemen. We got in the row, we got Russia, we got France. We're close to, sorry about that. We got in France alone, close to 6 million people got infected, where the population of France is also about 62 million people. So from 62 million people, 6 million people, that is a massive number, ladies and gentlemen. One has to think about it. In France alone, more than 110,000 people died. UK also got close to 100,000 people died. So this is the list about the current situation in the whole world. When it comes to India, Hyderabad, I'm not going to go to the details of that. But I just would like to mention here, in Africa as a continent, what is the situation? Africa is a continent, we got 1.3 billion people living in African continent, where I'm sitting here today, which is considered to be the second biggest continent in the world after Asia. Africa has got 30.4 million square kilometers land, whereas Asia as a continent, it has got more than 45 million square kilometers land. Now from this 1.3 billion people, that is population of India, or maybe more than the population of Africa is living in India alone. We are getting close to 1.4 billion people. We will be surpassing China very soon, maybe in the coming couple of years' time. And we will become, or India will become, the largest populated country in the world, although we are second largest for a very long time now. So in Africa as a continent, we didn't even get 7 million people infected by the virus, ladies and gentlemen. The 7 million people, as I indicated to you, probably maybe little more than what France as a country is having. The France population is 62 million. Africa's as a continent population is about 1.3 billion. And how many countries that we have in Africa? We got 55 countries in Africa. Out of those 55 countries, South Africa is one of the countries where I'm working and living here. And we got largely populated country like Nigeria, where more than 220 million people are living in Nigeria alone, ladies and gentlemen. That made Nigeria as the 6th largest populated country in the world. But if you look at the population and you look at the infection rates in the African continent, we didn't even have 7 million people. So people see Africa as a poor continent. Africans are poor. But in actual sense, I've been living and working in Africa for more than 22 years, ladies and gentlemen. The reality is different. Africa is the continent which has got abundant resources. African continent is a rich continent, ladies and gentlemen. We must remember that Indians love gold. And probably 38% of the total gold is consumed by Indians. That is why the price of gold in India is always crazy. Now the gold, Africa as a continent produces 54 to 55% of the total gold production of the world, ladies and gentlemen. Among that, South Africa remains largest producer of gold for more than 100 years, starting from 1904 to 2006. South Africa was the largest producer of gold in the whole world. Now China has taken over that. South Africa still is one of the leading producers of the gold. So if you talk about the diamonds, you talk about the gold, you talk about the uranium, platinum deposits, African continent is rich enough. If you talk about the platinum deposits, ladies and gentlemen, the province where I'm sitting here, Northwest Province or the Northwest University where I'm working, the Northwest Province is nothing but is like a state of India. One of the state like Telangana state or Andhra Pradesh state and so on. So Northwest state or Northwest Province is known as a platinum province. 70% of the platinum deposits are centered only in this particular land where I'm here, close to Botswana. So in the eyes of the world, even while I was a student, while I was a child, in my social studies, about 40 years ago, I was studying that Africa is a dark continent. Africans are poor. Africa is known for diseases, problems, wars, killings, and all those human negative words we read about. Though we have problems here in African continent, but the world has seen those problems in a different ways, with different eyes. So Africans are not poor, ladies and gentlemen. In the near future, in the coming 100 years' time, there are plenty of opportunities as we are talking about managerial opportunities, production opportunities, business opportunities are going to lie or stay in African continent. The whole world is looking for Africa because Africa has got abundant resources, ladies and gentlemen. DRC Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. The estimation made that Democratic Republic of Congo is considered to be one of the poorest countries. Out of 180 countries list, if you look at, DRC Congo may remain at 172nd position. If you look at the net worth of the resources that DRC Congo, whether they are diamonds, gold, copper, and many other resources, DRC Congo has got probably more than $25 trillion worth of money, ladies and gentlemen. So, meaning that is the total income contributed by America was contributing $23 trillion to the global economy, whereas the net worth of the assets or the resources of DRC Congo as a country in African continent has got more than $25 trillion. So let us talk about the second part where we can look into the economy side, the global economy, how the global economy looks like. So I was trying to wrap up in the first part of my presentation that though we have 1.3 billion people on African continent, the infection rates is less than 7 millions. And countries like Egypt, maybe Morocco, South Africa, these are the leading countries, Kenya, and these are the leading countries in terms of number of infections. Country Namibia, where I worked before, the population of the country is 250 million people. 2.5 million people living in Namibia as a country. Namibia's size is 824,000 square kilometers land. So that is probably, maybe one can say that 1/3 of India. So Indian size, if you look at 3.2 million square kilometers land, India is the 7th largest country in the world, which occupies about 2.1% of the total world, total globe size. So meaning that if we look at the size of India, size of Namibia as a country, which is our neighboring country now to South Africa, the population of the whole country is 2.5 million people. 2.5 million people, not even half of the population of Hyderabad as a city, ladies and gentlemen, as a capital city. Botswana is also very close to me. The Botswana border, the city where I am in Mahikeng city, the Botswana border is only 25-30 kilometers far away from the place where I'm sitting now. Botswana population is also 2.5 million people, actually. Though Botswana is much bigger than maybe Rajasthan state of India, or much bigger than Germany, much bigger than many European countries. So that is the population size. So meaning that Botswana has got lots of diamonds, lots of resources. And that goes with Liberia also. Liberia, considered to be one of the poorest countries, it has got lots of diamonds, ladies and gentlemen. South Africa also got lots of diamonds. So this is the resources of the continent in general make Africa is not a poor continent. One has to think about it. Now, in the second part of my presentation that we look into the global economy, how the global economy looks like. Before pandemic, that is 2020, 2019, December before that. Let us try to review, let us try to, look at how the global economy looks like. What is the largest economy in the world today? And we all know that it is America. And the students sitting here from the MBA department or engineering department and many other departments, and we know that it is America. America is not the largest economy only in 2020 or 2019 or maybe 2010 or maybe 20, 30 years ago. It has been the largest economy in the whole world for the past 150 years, ladies and gentlemen. Starting from 1871, and today we are talking about 2021. So exactly 150 years, America remains the number one economy or the largest economy in the whole world. Now, if you look at the population of America, they're not even 1/3 of us. There are only 330 million people, actually. And probably the population of Uttar Pradesh state and the population of Rajasthan state and Andhra Pradesh, Telangana state, maybe Orissa state, put together, we will surpass the population of America as a country. America is bigger than us, no doubt, in terms of area size. But in terms of population, we are probably 3 times bigger than them. So, just for comparison purpose. Now, which was the largest economy in the world before America? So, ladies and gentlemen, one can proudly say that it is none other than our beloved country, India. India remained the largest economy in the whole world, not for 100 years or 150 years like America. It is for 1,800 years, India was the largest economy in the whole world, ladies and gentlemen. So we talk about Indus Valley civilization. We talk about so many civilizations that India has been contributed a lot for this globe. In terms of the art, culture, engineering, innovation, science, technology, in every aspect. So India is contributing almost 40% of the total wealth of this globe, ladies and gentlemen. What happened? From 40%, we dropped down to 28%. That is our share. America is contributing about 25% to the global economy, but India was contributing about 40% at one stage. So from 40%, we dropped down to 28%. From 28%, we dropped down to 25%, what America is doing today. And when Britishers have come, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that the history of India, Britishers have come and they ruled 250 to 300 years. And during that 250, 300 years, ladies and gentlemen, they looted our economy, they looted our resources, they exploited our people. They created a lot of problems. Pakistan and India is divided as two countries and fighting with each other as brothers, two brothers. The fight is going on until now, even after 73, 74 years of the independence of these two countries because of the Britishers. They divided us. They created problem among ourselves. Now they are happily watching us that when we are fighting with each other. So the Britishers have looted our economy, more than $45 trillion worth of resources they have looted from us. If we look at that $45 trillion, no country in the world today, ladies and gentlemen, could able to contribute 45 trillions to the global economy. So meaning that if we look at the resource base that we have, the abundant resources that we have in India, the fertile land that India has got, no country in the world other than America has got that fertile land, ladies and gentlemen. So India is blessed with so much amount of fertile land, the soil that we have, the quality of the land that we have is no other country in the whole world. China is 3 times bigger than us, but China come after us in terms of the best land that we have in this world. So India consistently was showing and demonstrating its unique stand in the global economy as the largest economy in the world. So India situation was changed completely, a paradigm shift from 40% to 25%. Even when when we are experiencing World War I, 1914, 1916, somewhere there, India was still contributing, ladies and gentlemen, 16% of the global economy. From 16% when India got independence in 1947, 15th of August, around that time, 1947, 1950, India was still contributing 4% to the global economy. And now, our contribution to the global economy is less than 3%. So this is what had happened over a period of time. It had happened all in all in about 150 years' time. The face of India, the stand of India, the position of India in the global economy is completely changed. Now, when we look at the top 5 economies in this world, the largest economy is America. The second largest economy is China. China is contributing about $14.6 trillion income to this world. If you look at on an average, $85 trillion is the total income contributed by all the nations. 200 nations of this world are contributing about, what is the total income? They're contributing only $85 trillion. That is our total income of the world, ladies and gentlemen. From this 85 trillions, America contributes more than 23 trillions, and whereas China contributes about 14.6 trillions. So we got the 2 largest economies in this world. The third largest economy, Japan, and Japan remains to be the second largest economy in the world, actually. Starting from 1960s, 70s onwards, or more than up to 2010, about 10 years back, Japan remained, for about 3 to 4 decades, Japan remains as the second largest economy in the whole world. The population of Japan is only less than 125 million people, ladies and gentlemen. The population of Uttar Pradesh, as I indicated to you, and maybe another small state of Andhra Pradesh together, it could be the population of all of Japan. And Japan is the second largest economy at one stage for about 3.5 to 4 decades. So now Japan is contributing about $6 to $6.5 trillion. The fourth largest economy is Germany. And Germany contributes about $4.2 trillion. Now, what is the size of Germany actually? Germany is almost the similar size of Rajasthan state of India. And Rajasthan is considered to be the largest state as of now, according to the new state formation in 1998. We got Chhattisgarh, we got Uttaranchal, and we got probably other few states, Jharkhand and so on. So after that, before that, Madhya Pradesh used to be the largest state. Now, Rajasthan is the largest state in the country. Rajasthan as a state of India, Germany as a country, independent nation, we have the same size, area size. Now look at Germany is one step ahead of India. The population of Germany is only little more than 80 millions. That is, even Uttar Pradesh population is more than the population of Germany. So that is the fourth largest economy. And the fifth largest economy is India. And India is contributing $2.8 trillion. Maybe 35% of what Germany was contributing. Or probably, yeah, more than 60% or 65% what Germany was contributing. So that's the kind of structure that we have, ladies and gentlemen. UK goes on maybe 2.6 trillions, and other countries, and even Indonesia contributes $1 trillion and so on. So these are the top 10 economies in the world, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at the overall situation in the world, the population in the world today is 7.8 billions. From this 7.8 billion people, ladies and gentlemen, living on this planet, there's so much poverty, so much destitution, so much unemployment, so many problems. There are only a few countries, 5 countries in the world, they have more than 50% of the total income of the world. And 5 countries in the world, they got 50% of the total poverty of this world. What kind of economic justice we can bring here, ladies and gentlemen? The poor is becoming a poorer, whereas the rich is becoming much richer at the cost of the poor. And it is going to have a destructive kind of trend. It's not going to be sustainable in the long run. The world is going like a top-heavy and bottom-weak kind of approach, ladies and gentlemen. We all know that any layman can easily think that top-heavy, bottom-weak approach, they're not going to stand for a long time. They will collapse. So if there is no justice, there is no peace in the world. If there is no peace, there is no justice. So justice and peace, they go with each other. They are the two sides of the same coin, same system. The way that we are growing is disproportionate, which is not going to be good for the world. The 5 countries in the world, they're contributing 50% of the global poverty. Now, who are those 5 countries? Unfortunately, India is the largest contributor of poverty to this world, with about 24% of the total poverty is coming from India alone, ladies and gentlemen. That's not a good sign for us. India exceeded in so many aspects, science, technology, producing the global business leaders like Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, also come from Hyderabad, and Sundar Pichai from Chennai area. We got so many stalwarts, so many professors working in Harvard University. Harvard University dean was also the Indian origin gentleman, or Indian gentleman. Now, when we establish that kind of track record, but on the other side, we have contributing 24% of the global poverty. That means that for every 4 poor people living on this planet, 1 is coming from India, unfortunately. That is a big shame on us, ladies and gentlemen. India got independence 73 years ago. India has got abundant natural resources. But the politicians, one side, the Britishers have looted the economy, and the other side, the politicians also looted the economy, ladies and gentlemen. That's why people become poor. The politicians, they do the honest job during their tenure, the 5 years or 10 years period. We wouldn't have seen the poverty problem in the country today. So we all should think about that. We have scientists here, we have economists here, and the business leaders here, and the students. We need to think about this. So the situation has to change. 24% coming from India alone. Out of every 50 people living below poverty line in this planet, 24 people coming from India alone. That made India is the largest contributory country to the poverty. The second country is none other than Nigeria. 15% people or 15% poverty is coming from Nigeria. The third country is DRC Congo, as I mentioned to you. 7% is coming from DRC Congo. Now, the fourth country is Ethiopia. 4% coming from Ethiopia. And the fifth country is none other than our neighbor, our sisterly nation, Bangladesh. I'm sure that some of our colleagues from Bangladesh, because Dhaka International University is also taking part in this event. Bangladesh is contributing almost 3% of the global poverty. So this is not fair. When 5 countries in the world, they hold 50% of the income, and 5 countries in the world, they contribute 50% of the global poverty, it's absolutely unequal. And this paradigm, this model or this structure needs to be adjusted and changed. In order for us to change this poverty, in order to uplift the people of this world who are living below poverty line, how much money we need? We are talking about $85 trillion today. We just need $100 billion, ladies and gentlemen, to completely eradicate this global poverty. Now, $100 billion, our richest people like Jeff Bezos, who is the CEO of Amazon, he has got close to $200 billion. At least 50% of his money, if he could able to contribute for this eradication of poverty, then the poverty is gone. 73 years ago, when India got independence, we are talking about poverty. And even 2021, they are also talking about how to reduce the poverty in India, how to improve the employment, and so on and so forth. So these are the issues, ladies and gentlemen. There are so many pertinent issues that I could able to cover, but in the interest of time, I'm looking at the time, it is close to 8:33 in South Africa. And maybe in India, it could be midday. That is about 12 o'clock or 12:03. So we have a situation where we are growing in an imbalanced manner, which is not going to be sustainable for this world. The second richest man who hailed from South Africa, Elon Musk, who studied his matriculation grade 12 in Pretoria High School, which is close to, Pretoria is also one of the major cities in the country. And he became the second richest man, close to $185 billion. Maybe the richest man of India, Mukesh Ambani, has got close to $90 billion. So I'm not going to go through the details of that, ladies and gentlemen. I just would like to talk about the challenges that we have, the new challenges that we're going to face in this world. The challenges are immense. My third part of my speech, and I will try to conclude in a few minutes' time. When we look at this, the new normal that we are talking, we are not in new normal actually. It is abnormality. It is the normal. It is not a normal. It is abnormal. It is a peculiar phenomena that the whole world we never ever experienced, particularly this generation. So the person who experienced Spanish flu, I don't know if 1 or 2 people, they're still alive, but many of the people who experienced the Spanish flu, they are no longer. So ladies and gentlemen, this new normal is not going to sustain, is not going to be there forever. So it will be changing. The new normal that we need to adopt, the economic challenges that we're going to face in this world today, there are millions and millions of jobs are lost. In India alone, close to 15 crore people, 150 million people lost their employment opportunities in different sectors, particularly in the construction industry, particularly in the informal businesses and MSMEs and so on and so forth. There are so many people, they lost their employment. Tourism sector, hotel restaurant industry. So there are so many countries, including USA, also got more than 50 million people got unemployed. Emirates, which is also considered to be one of the biggest airline industry in the world, they made before pandemic 2019 they made $253 million as their profit, the net profit. Now last week there was a report that was saying that they incurred a loss of more than $5 billion during this pandemic. There are pilots, there are air hostesses, ground staff who are working for the Emirates, and they got more than 190 destinations in the whole world. Now, all those destinations, the way they work has been disrupted. So the economy has been completely having a shaking situation. And in order for us to bring the economy back to the track, it's not going to be easy for us. According to ILO, International Labor Organization statistics revealed that recently, for every 6 people working, and 1 person is got affected by this. So much unemployment has been created. In South Africa, also more than 3 million people got unemployed. So the economic challenges will remain. Although the IMF says that the global economy is going to grow at the rate of 4.2% in the near future by 2022 to 2025, somewhere there. And India is again going to rise. We were growing at the rate of 7% at one stage. Now we come down to less than 4%. And IMF forecast revealed that India also going to grow, can become the fastest economy in the world like 2018. And we're going to grow at the rate of 12.6%. So, but that will take some time. In order for us to back to the track and move with the same speed that we were coming with, it will take some time. So with these few words, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to conclude by saying thanks to the Lord's Institute of Engineering and Technology and the Dhaka International University, who is a co-partner of this event, and Dr. Saeed and the principal and all the participants from different corners of India and different corners of the world. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable speech and giving a brief description about global economies and challenges in new normal, sir. Participants, if you are having any queries, you can ask.
Sir, actually, you made a very valid point that the rich is getting the richer and the poor is getting poor day by day with the current system of economics we have. So, sir, just want to share like my little knowledge and experience. So, don't you think that this high interest rate is the problem for us? Can we have a viable solution with a low interest rate? I mean, in every sector, whether it's banking or financial institutions or any other like RBI. I mean, will it be a viable solution for it? Thank you.
Mukhtarji, if I understand your question, that do we need to have low interest rate or the higher interest rate? Which one is good for the people or which one is good for the economy? Are you asking that question? Mukhtarji?
Yes, sir.
Mukhtar
Can you just
Samad?
repeat, sir?
I'm just trying to understand your question actually, so that I can try to address it. Are you saying
Sir,
that
just
the higher interest rate is one of the bottlenecks for the people to grow?
yes, sir. Like to bridge this gap between
Can you
rich and poor,
right?
will like because everywhere you go, there is people who want to buy something and like a home or like everywhere we have interest rates, no, sir. So like with this concept, every like the rich is getting the richer and the poor is getting poor. So This was my question actually.
Okay. Well, Mukhtarji, we need to do a lot of monetary and fiscal policy structural changes within our structure. India, at one stage, we are the little bit more equal society. Now we are moving into the direction unequal society. If you look at the inequality rate, and the rate is been changing rapidly in India. So meaning that there are only like Mukesh Ambani and Adani, and those are the people, they are becoming more richer. Even during this pandemic also, one can look at their incomes. Their incomes are increased more than $10 billion, whereas everybody was losing a lot of money. So the interest rates question here is that we need to look at the interest rates are also declined, all over the world, the interest rates are declined, including India. I think the interest rate is about 5% if you save the money, and maybe 3 to 5% somewhere there. But the same reflection that we need to encourage our investors, we need to encourage our entrepreneurs by giving low interest rate loans, so that we stimulate them, we encourage them to invest money, and we can also encourage them to, build some institutions and some companies and industries so that they can generate employment opportunities. So therefore, my take would be that we need to, it's like time sensitive and case sensitive issue. What is the case? There are so many politicians, when they get the money from the banks, they are getting for lower interest rates. A common man or a middle class man or somebody, a youngster who wanted to start the business, they are getting higher interest rate loans. So that kind of things need to be changed, because politicians, they can influence anybody. So they don't look at the rules and regulations what are made by the Reserve Bank of India. They create the rules according to the case to case. That should be stopped. I hope I answered your question. Mukhtar Hamad,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I have one question. What are the quick
Sure.
revival points for improving economies? Can I repeat, sir?
Well, yes, I do understand that. What are the quick revival points to improve the economy? That's your
Yes, sir.
question. Well, to explain that question, maybe we need a lot of time, but I want to also give you a quick answer. You see, there are so much destruction was made after World War I and World War II. Particularly, country like Japan, which was completely destroyed during the World War II, raise within about 15 to 20 years time, it could raise itself from no economy or zero economy to the second largest economy. So there is no shortcut methods for the sustainable development. It is the people that everybody should feel the responsibility. Government only can prepare the policies, government can bring the reforms, but ultimately it is the people that they need to work harder, and they need to demonstrate themselves that they are part of the economy. If individuals could not work, and no economy is going to be improved. So meaning that we need to bring structural adjustments, like we had reform policy like liberalization, privatization, and globalization, LPG formula, which was initiated by our former Prime Minister, who also come from Telangana state, particularly Wangara village of Karimnagar district of Telangana, even Narasimha Raoji, and with the help of Dr. Manmohan Singh, the then finance minister, in 1991, June, July, somewhere there, they brought these reforms. And those reforms, after 30 years, India is reaping the fruits of those reforms. So meaning that we need to aim, for the future, and we need to adjust, and we need to implement the economic policies, particularly the monetary policy need to be readjusted. The fiscal policy also need to be readjusted, and the tax system that we are we are following now with the GST and so on, we also need to adjust. And then the third point or the fourth point would be that government also must introduce stimulus packages to boost these 63 million MSMEs in India. And we need to concentrate more on the production and employment generation activities. I hope I answered your question, Madam Ji.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Participants, anyone? Anyone? Any queries?
Hello,
Shall
sir.
I close?
Hello, sir.
Muhammad Ali ji,
Hello.
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
I can hear you. Go ahead.
my question is the policies which we need to make, and like general public need to come up, and the rate of interest has to go down, and the facilities to be made for loans for public. It is second. In my view, it is secondary thing. The first thing is that the government has to take the actions, whereas to reduce the taxes first. As of in the pandemic, our neighboring country Pakistan has reduced the 30 rupees per liter on of petrol prices, and on 40 rupees per liter of diesel they have reduced it. So with that cost of fuels going down, the economy certainly will boost up. The transport charges will be very less, and that affects everything. But in our country, day by day, even in the pandemic also, the rates are going higher and higher up. It's crossing more than 100 rupees. How can we able to sustain and survive with this kind of the government policies which is going on now?
Well, Muhammad Ali ji, if I understand that it is more like a comment than a specific question. That
Look, my question is what the government needs to do. What the government needs to do first now is to reduce the taxes. Instead of planning a long-term 10 years or 20 years or 30 years of policies, the immediate effect has to be taken up. No, sir. Policies are good, that's very good. But in this current situation, what we have to do? We cannot do anything without the government support.
yes, Muhammad Ali ji, that as I mentioned to you earlier, that government is the leader of the people. So government should work for the people. Government must look into the welfare of the people. Whatever policies and whatever policy implementation that they make, what they need to do is that petrol prices vary from country to country. In South Africa, we got about 17 rands, South African rands. That could be less than maybe 75 to 80 rupees. So it varies. In a country like Saudi Arabia, which is also one of the largest producer of petrol, there they may
Even
spend
Nepal,
2
I believe
cents.
even Nepal, I believe I believe even Nepal, who is taking petrol from us, is selling the petrol at a very cheap rate, very cheap rate in the Nepal. People from the
Well,
neighboring countries, states like
uh,
UP or something, they go there and buy the petrol and come back to the our borders. We are
yes, we
selling
do
the
have a lot
petrol to
of.
Nepal.
Yes, Muhammad Ali ji, I'm not going to go to the details of that. Just to address the matter quickly because of the interest of time, that you see, I know
As,
the statistics, how much,
as you said,
what is the price of petrol in.
as you said, with these kind of policies, this kind of attitude of the government, the richer are getting richer, the poorer are getting poorer. That's all.
Yes, just to mention that, you see, the policy reforms, whatever we do, politicians are not going to remain in the power forever. The
No, that's
political
true.
parties, we are all temporary people here. If we realize that we are all temporary here, in the coming 50 to 70 years time, none of us on this platform, we are going to be alive. So when we have the scenario like that, the politicians also, they still revealed that all the political parties, whoever are there in the power, and there's also paradigm shift in the power. So nothing is permanent, but people are going to be remained here. If not we, our children our grandchildren, great grandchildren, they are going to be remain here. So whatever we do today, we need to target our future generations. So the quickest thing is that whatever we do, we need to look into the long term and also the short term, because both of them are important. So the adjustments that need to be done, particularly in the tax reform and also in the fiscal policies and also in the monetary policies, these three things in the best interest of the people of India. And people of India also should realize that if the government of Telangana or government of India is giving a free money to the people, they must not take that kind of money. So we are, by doing this kind of freebies, the government is making the people poor actually, not richer. They're making them more dependent. If they give us 2 cents or 1 cent or 1 rupee, they're going to collect more than 10 rupees from us. So one has to think about that. So we need to try to regulate these freebies completely or in the due course of time in order to make the economy more sustainable. I think that would be my point, Muhammad Ali ji. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was very nice of you, sir. You explained answers in very clearly understanding manner. I hope participants have got their answers. Uh, so now I consider it's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks to all the dignitaries who have witnessed as a memorable and successful event. Today's session was started by three eminent speakers like Professor Badiuddin Ahmed, DMC, SCBM Manu. He gave his lecture on recent advancement in management and technology. Thank you, sir, for your lecture. Um, and I would like to thank Professor Ravinder Rena, Northwest University, Mahikeng, South Africa. He delivered his speech on economic challenges in new normal. It was very nice session, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Professor, I would like to thank Professor Shaukat Ali, HOD, Commerce Department, AIAP, College of Commerce and Economics, University of Mumbai. He gave his lecture on opportunity challenges in human resources. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And today, this session will be ended here. And at 12:50, we join in valedictory section. So I request participants to join at 12:50 in valedictory section. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best. Take care. Bye for now.
Everyone can join in valedictory program at 12:50 p.m. Sharp 12:50 p.m.
Hello, I'm just checking my mic. I want to know if you can hear me. Anyone?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mukhtar.
Yes, you're really audible.
Thank
Yes,
you so much.
it's
And you
audible.
can also, and you are also able to see me, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
visible.
Yes, sir.
Looking good.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
లాస్ట్ కాలేజ్ షేక్ జిలానీ హెచ్ఓడి బాగా మంచి తీసుకొచ్చిండు యాక్టివ్ సార్ అని తెలుగు ఒకసారి Yes.
Okay. Are we starting now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wonderful.
Sorry for the inconvenience, sir. In 2 minutes, we will start, sir. Good morning to one and all. I, KB Vanitha, Assistant Professor of Lord's Institute of Engineering and Technology, MBA Department, and I feel privileged to welcome you all on behalf of Lord's Institute of Engineering and Technology to the 2 days international e-seminar on managerial opportunities and challenges in new normal. Now, I would like to invite our international e-seminar convener, Dr. Syed Hamid Mohiuddin Qadri, onto the dais. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. T.K. Sheikh Shavali, Director Admissions, HOD CSE, to occupy the seat on the dais. Now, I invite Dr. Afiz Pasha Panipeti, Director TBI and Dean IQAC, onto the dais. I would like to welcome Dr. Ajam Pasha Qadri, Vice Principal LIET, HOD of Mechanical, to occupy the seat on the dais. I would like to welcome our beloved Principal, Dr. C. Venkata Narasimlu, Professor in ECE and Principal of Lord's Institute of Engineering and Technology. Onto the dais. Well, Alison, EY UK, and I, managing partner for client service, once said optimism and courage are the key to reshaping the new normal. Pray for strength and courage for our sisters and brothers in the most marginalized communities to claim the support they are entitled to. Pray for healthcare workers who risk their life each day to heal and care for the sick with supplies that are running out, that they receive the medicines and equipment. The need to give vital treatment. Coronavirus impacts all of us, but love unites all of us. Join us for prayer for our neighbors near and far. I request you all to stand for silent prayer. Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone. Now it's time to welcome our delegates, management, HOD, faculty, and participants to the 2 days international e-seminar. A very good morning to one and all present here, and thank you for joining us in 2 days international e-seminar. I warmly welcome all the participants for 2 days international e-seminar. I welcome heads of all departments and distinguished faculty members of LIET. I invite, welcome address. Now I invite Syed Mohiddin Qadri sir for welcome address.
Good afternoon, one and all. I am Syed Hamid Mohiddin Qadri, HOD, MBA, LIET. First of all, I feel privileged to speak on this occasion of valedictory session of International E-Seminar on Managerial Opportunities and Challenges in New Normal, which is organized by Department of Management Studies in collaboration with Dhaka International University, Dhaka, Bangladesh. In this event of a valedictory session, I welcome our Vice Principal. I welcome our Vice Principal, Mr. Dr. Azam Pasha Khadri, sir. I also welcome Professor C.V. Narsimlu, sir, Principal LIT. I welcome Chief Patron of this event, Mr. Basha Mohyuddin, sir, Secretary Ma'am Rizwana Begum, Vice Chairman Sayyid Tausif Ahmed. I welcome guest of honor of this event, Professor D. Sri Ramlu, sir, Dean College Department Council, Chairperson, BOS, Osmania University. I also welcome Professor Amirullah Khan, Professor Mari Chinna Reddy, Human Resource Development Institute of Telangana. I welcome all the dignitaries. I welcome all the participants, faculty members, and dear students from India and abroad. Okay. Now, okay, ma'am. रिपोर्ट नहीं पढ़ना है, रिपोर्ट पढ़ने के बाद प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी कितने मेंबर पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे नहीं वैलिड अच्छा इसके बाद में
Now it's time to review of 2 days e-seminar. In review of 2 days e-seminar, day 1 followed by inaugural session. Uh, it followed by welcoming dignitaries and delegates for the International E-Seminar by Dr. Syed Hamid Moinuddin Qadri sir. Welcome address by Principal sir. Address by Vice Chairman Mr. Syed Tosif Hamid, LIET. Inaugural address by Guest of Honor Professor R. Nageshwar Rao, HOD Business Management, Director IQAC. Keynote address by Chief Guest Barrister Shamim Haider Patwari, Member of Parliament, Bangladesh, Member Standing Committee on Ministry of Law and Parliament Affairs and Chairman, Board of Trustee, Dhaka International University, Bangladesh. Then session by distinguished speakers. Professor Bolinath Datta, President, MTC, Bangalore, gave lecture on topic Digital Transformation. Then it's followed by session Professor Kaukab Azim, KFU PM, enlighten participants with topic Impact and Challenges of the Pandemic on Higher Education in New Normal. Then day 2 followed by speakers session Professor Badiuddin Hamid Sir, DMNC SZBM Manu, presented on topic Recent Advancement in Management and Technology. Then the next session followed by Professor Ravinder Rena, Northwest University, Mahikeng, South Africa, enlightened participants by his lecture on topic Economic Challenges in New Normal. Then it's followed by Professor Shaukat Ali Sir, Commerce Department, AIAP, College of Commerce and Economics, University of Mumbai, presented lecture on topic Opportunities and Challenges in Human Resource. Then it's followed by valedictory session. Now I would like to invite e-seminar convener for valedictory address.
Good morning, good afternoon, one and all. Actually, this international e-seminar on managerial opportunities and challenges was planned keeping in the mind the opportunities and challenges, what the challenges and issues what we are facing from past several months, that is pandemic, the duration of pandemic. No students were able to go to the college or school, and the communication between the student and the teacher was missing. Because of the lack of communication, there was no transfer of knowledge properly. Not even just in the field of education, in the field of business, in other fields, other professions, there was so many issues and challenges. So keeping in this mind, we have planned this event. So we have called distinguished speakers from different parts of the world, like from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We have called Toka Bazim. He's from King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals. We contacted Professor Ravinder Rena sir, who's from South Africa. So he have given consent. We spoke to Barrister Shamim Haider Patwari sir, who is also the member of parliament there. So he has also given the consent that he is going to address us. So we then spoke to national speakers, one from Mumbai University, Mr. Shaukat Ali, and we spoke to Professor Bholenath Datta, who's from Bangalore, and we spoke to Professor Badiuddin Ahmad, who's from Maulana Azad National Urdu University. All the dignitaries have given consent, so we were able to organize this successfully. On day 1, the addresses by Principal Sir, Dr. C.V. Narsimlu, it was very supportive and very courageous for us in the starting itself. Then we have been addressed by Said Tausif Ahmad, our Vice Chairman, So he has also uh, supported us in every way. The guest of honor for the inaugural session, Professor R. Nageshwar Rao sir, have addressed in the inaugural session, and he has discussed the on two different. He has highlighted on two important topics: the core of the institute, the students and the teachers. Then the address by chief guest of the inaugural session, Barrister Shamim Haidar Patwari, Member of Parliament, Bangladesh. He has shown the opportunities and challenges. He has shared his experiences, how he is managing the challenges and making them as an opportunities. In today's sessions, in today's sessions, we have Professor Badiuddin Ahmad in the morning session, where he discussed about the recent advancement in management and technology. It was a wonderful session, followed by question and answers with the participants. Then we have Ravindra Rena sir. Then we had Shaukat Ali sir's session, where he discussed about the opportunities and challenges in human resources. There also we had a question and answer session. The participants had gathered the good amount of knowledge from him also. Then we had a session of Professor Ravinder Rena sir from South Africa. He has shared his wonderful knowledge. The insight given by him regarding the pandemic, regarding the different aspects of opportunities and challenges available today in the field of business and other fields. Now we have a valedictory session where uh, Professor Amirullah Khan sir will be addressing as a chief guest, and Professor D. Sriramlu sir from Osmania University will be addressing as a guest of honor. I would like to share one important aspect of this e-seminar. The participants which have been which we receive as a registration are from throughout the world. We have from Romania, we have from Pakistan, we have from UK, we have from USA. The participants are from Bangladesh, South Africa, and in India we have from every state of India. Like we have from Jammu and Kashmir to Kanyakumari, we can say that. We have from Odisha, Sikkim, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala. We have we can say all the parts of the India we have participants. And I hope the participants have gathered the good amount of knowledge from the delegates, dignitaries who has addressed these speeches. I end my speech now. I transfer this to Vanita.
Thank you, sir, for your address. Now I would like to invite our principal, sir, for presidential address.
Yeah, good afternoon to Honorable Chief Guest, Amirullah Khan, Professor, MHRD, Telangana Government, and Honorable Guest of Honor, Professor Sriramulu Garu, Dean, College Development Cell, and Chairman BOS Management Studies, Osmania University. Honorable Chairman of the college, Sri Basha Mohiddin sir, Honorable Secretary Madam, Rizwana Madam, Honorable Vice Chairman, Tawseef Ahmad sir, and convener of this program, Hamid, MBA HOD, and our Vice Principal and Mechanical HOD, Dr. Azam Basha Gadri, and our Director Admissions and Computer Science Head, Dr. T.K. Shavali, and Director Incubation, Technology Incubator, and Dean IQAC, Hafiz Basha, and other dignitaries and participants. Once again, good afternoon to one and all. So, as I mentioned in my inaugural address, really the MBA department has taken good topic in the present situation. So, we are all now coming out of from the pandemic, and how to overcome, how to maintain in this new normal. I can say only one thing. So these pandemics, even in future also may come. So many pandemics also we have seen in the past. So we need to adapt for every situation. So as you all know that now the digital divide. So everybody is having challenges and as well as opportunities also. So as I told you, because of this pandemic, the old age people or older people are now habituated for technology, how to present the lectures and other seminars, attending seminars and webinars. Hopefully, one way it is benefited. Other way, as I told you, we lost several things like financially, economically, health, all these things. So whatever it may be, in a single word, what we can say, we need to adapt for the situation. So once again, I appreciate the head of the department for taking this initiation and conducting wonderfully this program. I came to know that out of 150 registered, 120 members have participated. Really, it is a overwhelming response. We can treat it as a grand success of this program. I thank the management for providing us this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir, for your message. Now I would like to invite J. Jayalakshmi ma'am to introduce our guest of honor, Professor D. Sri Ramulu.
Good afternoon now. Dr. D. Sri Ramulu has completed his PhD in Business Management from Osmania University, LLB MBA from Osmania University, and MBA Systems Teacher Training from Osmania University. He has 23 years of academic experience. Presently, he is working as a professor, Department of Business Management, Dean College Development Council, Chairman Board of Studies in MBA, Osmania University, Hyderabad. He is also Chairman Board of BOS, Board of Studies member in Palmeru University, Board of Studies member in Sri Venkateshwara University, Tirupati, in Coimbatore University, Karnataka, Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalaya, Tirupati, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, Hyderabad, NIFER, and in many 25 autonomous colleges under the jurisdiction of Osmania and other universities. Dr. Sri Ramulu is also associated as a NAT peer member, team member, member of AICT Inspection Committee, member of AICT Scrutiny Committee, member of Autonomous College Selection Committee, UGC, member of Selection Committee, Kerala Central University, member of Selection Committee, Guru Nanak Dev, Amritsar, Punjab, member of Selection Committee, Hyderabad Central University, member of Research Committee, Bangladesh University, sorry, not Bangalore, it's Bangalore University, member of Staff Selection Committee, JNTU, Hyderabad, member of Staff Selection Committee, Palampur University, member of Vigilance Committee, Government of Telangana, member of Fact Finding Committee of JNTU Hyderabad colleges. He has also contributed in various seminars as director, chaired national seminars, and director of FTPs and various seminar panels. 5 research scholars are pursuing postdoctoral fellowship under his supervision. 10 scholars are pursuing PhD. 15 scholars have already been awarded MPhil under his supervision. He has contributed 61 research publications, out of which 10 publications are Scopus indexed. He has also served as editorial board member in various research journals. Sir, I would like to invite you to address us and enlighten us with your knowledge and experience. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, very, very good morning. Is it audible, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir,
Yeah.
it's audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So the theme is that International E-Seminar on Managerial Opportunities and Challenges in New Normal. And Principal Professor C.V. Narsimula Garu, HOD Syed Hamid, and Management Faculty Mufasar Chanda, and the Vanita, Mrs. K.B. Vanita, Mrs. Jayalakshmi Garu, Miss Sheikh Jilani Basha, and the resource persons and the chief guests and the management, Mr. Pasha and Mr. Ahmad and Madam, and for all the members. I am a heartily congratulations to the management department of the Lord's College. I am so happy with you here because today, due to the time and frame, now urgent I have the 2 meeting with our secretary, Higher Education Council, as a part of our important meeting. So some disturbance will be there because I am receiving call from abroad, one of the professor calling, and I impressed by your college. I am very happy with your college. Regarding that, here one thing I want to say that in few minutes, I don't want to take more time because most important thing is that I have to attend online 2 important governing body meetings of different colleges with the Higher Education Council Secretary. So I'm busy with that. But few minutes I want to talk. Actually, I want to spend more time. I want to learn many more things because you did wonderful activity. Because we have that approximately 800 colleges, but in that only few colleges like you enlighten or you will enrich or you will help the academicians to interact, because we believe that brainstorming is required. Without brainstorming, we can't do anything. So I'm so happy with your college because recently you got autonomous and now you started and you successfully conducted that international e-seminar. So wonderful activity, and just I am listening the reports and especially your remarks of the principal. I am glad and I am congratulating the college academicians as well that management and principal and HOD his team. And here a few things I want to say that like 21 autonomous college we have that under the jurisdiction of Usmania University. But you are the first college, especially in this pandemic time, you conducted successfully. So I am congratulating you all. And if you're taking that MBAs, 128 MBA colleges and 180 sections, we have that. But you taken a bold step. So once again, I am appreciating your efforts. And I hope from university side, you will continue this, because being academicians of the globe, like you're saying, Rena is one of my best friend. And all the participants in that, 60 friends are 60% of my friend, including today's chief guest also that I know him. And he already regular visitor of our management department. And I want to spare more time. I want to learn many things. I want to know that. But anywhere, when you submit the report, I will completely, I will go through that and I will upgrade myself also. But only one thing is that I am, again, repeatedly, I am congratulating you. In future also, you can conduct this kind of seminar or webinar. So you enrich the knowledge. Ultimate thing is that knowledge-based society is required. So that's why that I'm appreciating you. And next thing is that same time, just I told that two important meeting where the IAS officers are there. So I have to attend their meeting. That is my limitation. So please permit me. Please permit me. And once again, I'm saying that all the best. And in future, you will conduct more. And next time when you say that, at least I will cancel all other meetings. But today that my superiors, I can't cancel. They are very, so that is the problem. So all the best. All the best, and especially management department and the management teachers and your team under the leadership of the principal sir and the management. Thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We remember your words, sir. In future also, we will conduct these type of programs, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, madam. Okay, madam. Thank you so much. Right.
Now, I request our HOD, sir, to introduce our chief guest, Professor Amir Ullah Khan.
Good afternoon once again. I feel privileged to introduce our chief guest today for this session, Professor Amirullah Khan. He is a development economist with a special interest in trade, health, and education. He has graduated in electronics engineering from Osmania University, then studied rural management in IRMA and got his PhD from Jamia Millia Islamia Central University. He joined the Indian Civil Services in 1993 batch, after which he worked for the Ministry of Finance, Government of India, and the UNDP at Project Large. He then took over as Executive Director and Editor of Encyclopedia Britannica India. Professor Amirullah Khan was then Director at India Development Foundation and Adjunct Professor of Business and Law at the 8th Cowan University in West Australia. Sir also was the founder, Vice Chancellor at the local university in Saharanpur, UP, and a member of governing body at the Presidency University in Bangalore. Sir then served as Deputy Director and Senior Policy Advisor at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Sir is now a member of the Sudhir Commission of Government of Telangana. He was earlier member of Kundu Commission of the Government of India. He teaches at the Indian School of Business, Foreign Service Institute, IAFT, Nalsar, NMIMS, and the Manipal Institute of Technology. Professor Amirullah Khan sir has consulted with the World Bank, CII, Planning Commission, and USAID. He has authored 15 books and number of papers. His latest publication is Education and Health, a focus on UP, that he has co-authored with Dr. Rajiv Kumar of Niti Aayog. Currently, Professor Amirullah Khan sir is associated with Management Development Center at Dr. Mari Chinna Reddy Human Resource Development Institute of Telangana as a professor. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Professor Amirullah Khan sir to address the gatherings.
Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody there for having invited me. Particular thanks to Dr. Khadri, Professor Vanita, Professor Jayalakshmi, Professor Chanda, Professor Jilani Basha, Dr. Venkat Narsimulu, Professor Sriramulu. I am indeed honored to be part of this really timely discussion on the new normal. And I'm so happy that this is something that Lords is doing in collaboration with the Dhaka International University, another absolutely fascinating and fabulous education institution. It is collaborations like this that will allow us to grow and to develop. I am that is really something that I found very heartening about this program. That it is a program that is being conducted by two of our foremost institutions, one from this side of the border and one in Dhaka. My congratulations to the principal, my congratulations to the MBA department. The other point I want to make is the title itself. It is time that we started discussing what is going to happen to the country post the normal, or what all of you are referring to as the new normal. My association with Lords goes back a long way. It was established in 2002. That is when I started coming to Hyderabad very often, because that is when I was teaching at the Indian School of Business, and I would often hear about this new institution. I then heard about it very closely from the Vice Chancellor at Osmania University, who was very proud of the Lord's College, Professor Suleiman Siddiqui. Then I had the honor of meeting your chairman several times, and I was very closely associated, without ever having been to the campus. I was very closely associated with the development of the institution, and I was so happy to note that the college was becoming better and better and getting ranked higher and higher as time went by, and today it is among our finest colleges in the state of Telangana. So my congratulations to all of you. Proud to be associated with the Lord's College. I am also, sir, and this is to the principal, I am also an electronics engineer, but I graduated in 1987 from the Osmania University, and then I went away to Gujarat and then to Delhi. So thank you very much for having invited me. I've been through parts of the seminar. I've seen the topics that were presented. I've listened to a few of the papers, and for all of those, I must compliment all of you very heavily. It is not an easy job to conduct a seminar of this nature, of this stature, at this point in time. Even otherwise, when we were in normal times, it would have been a difficult proposition. But given the travel restrictions, given all sorts of bandwidth problems and so on, to conduct a seminar of this nature so seamlessly and so efficiently over 2 days is indeed something that I must compliment Professor Khadri for, and for all of you at the Lord. On the subject itself, I have a few points to make. The subject of the new normal. And here, the first point that I would like to make is about management education itself. You would all appreciate the fact that over the last few years, much before COVID, management education has come under a scanner. Is the management education that we are providing to our future corporate workers relevant? Why is it that management education is increasingly being seen as something that is archaic, that is not relevant to the modern world? So this was a recurring theme in a number of discussions that have been happening for at least the last 10 years. At the Indian School of Business, a lot of us were concerned about this, and we were discussing this issue to a great extent to try and see how we can sort this problem out. Professor Sumantra Ghoshal at the London Business School was among the first to have talked about how management education can be made relevant in today's world. So to start thinking about this is something that I am completely in agreement with, and I must compliment the college for doing so. So the first point that I would like to make is that how do we reinvent management education in India? If we are going to reinvent management education in India, we must realize that the objectives of management education need to be redefined, that management education has to be relevant. And in that, what we have are a very simple set of rules. One, that management schools need a lot more industry specific knowledge. Students must be able to make their choice of job streams well before they graduate. They should have a long and steady period of internship, and that there has to be a very well tailored in-house training job. So that is something that we need to inculcate among our students as we go forward, and see what we need to do for management education in the next couple of decades. There is a lot of literature. The first literature that came around the time when the economic crisis happened, when the Eurozone crisis happened, was that there was this criticism that business education has become too market driven. This is one point that I want to emphasize to all students and faculty. And I make that as an economist. See, we economists have been arguing for a long time that the most efficient way of handling education is to make it market oriented. That you should supply and meet the demand. But in doing so, what we have done is that we have become far too market oriented. We have ceased to become leaders. And management education must realize that its role is not just to meet the demand of the corporate sector, but its role, very importantly, is also to shape the corporate sector in the next over the next 100 years. If you see, when management education began after the war, what management education did coming out of schools like Harvard was that it shaped industry as we know it. It first shaped industry by way of getting in efficiency and modern concepts of quality and inventory management. Then it shaped industry as it went towards the services sector. After that, unfortunately, the management education has become very market driven, a little more market driven than it should. We should ensure that in the new normal, management education again becomes a provider of leadership. That is going to be our important point. Sumantra Ghoshal had said about 15 years ago that business schools have now started teaching amoral theory, that our high levels of morality and ethics have got compromised. And that has happened because we have begun to cater to pure market demands. Therefore, the importance of ethical practices, the importance of understanding a moral decline of businesses is something that we must focus on in our business schools as we begin to emerge from the pandemic. There was another issue that happened, and that issue was that we were trying to ensure that business schools should now start looking good rather than being good. You would have noticed a tendency. That most of our colleges started focusing on the buildings, on the infrastructure. A college no longer looked like a place of learning, but a college now looked more like a finishing school, and therefore the importance of looking good rather than being good became the running theme. The final point that I want to make is the point about measurement. How do you measure the efficiency of a college? How do you measure whether a college is good or not? We have a number of ranking systems now, and these ranking systems can be questioned. There are some that are popular, some that are not. But what we need for ourselves is a ranking institution or a ranking system that is able to measure our ability to tackle the change that we are seeing. So these are the few points that I wanted to make today. Overall, the important thing that I would like to emphasize, especially for Lords, is that as we begin to emerge out of this pandemic, the first important point will be to understand what has been the impact of COVID on the Indian economy. This is not an easy question to answer. What has been the impact on the Indian economy? We certainly know that over the last 4 years, much before the pandemic, personal consumption had started coming down. We also know that unemployment had been going up, particularly educated unemployment. We also know that the small and medium sector has been threatened, and also know that exports have particularly been challenged. If that is the case, we must now understand what has happened after 2019. In December 2019, it was obvious to us that the Indian economy was on a decline. And this is pre-COVID times. The reason for that arguably was a very ill thought out policy measure called demonetization, after which we did a very bad implementation of the GST, and therefore the economy started coming down steadily, unemployment started going up. In 2020, with the pandemic, the economy just went into a tailspin, and this steady decline became a nosedive into negative growth. We saw a contraction in the economy for the first time. So the first point that all of us will have to understand and explain to our students is, what does a decline in economic growth mean, and what does a contraction mean? We have never seen a contraction. Most of us have never seen a contraction of the economy. What happens when economies contract? What happens to business performances? What happens to unemployment? What happens to productivity? That is the first investigation that we will have to do. And I will encourage Lords to do another conference, another meeting on the economic impact of COVID. What has happened? How has the economy and the business suffered because of COVID? Try and understand that. Not much work has been done yet anywhere in the world, certainly not in India. The second point that I would like to emphasize here is that what we also need to look at is what will be the nature of growth post-COVID. And some of you have addressed this in your papers in the conference, and I'm very delighted to have gone through those. That will the nature of the recovery be a steady recovery? Will it be a gradual recovery, or will it be a recovery that will come in bursts and spurts? This will allow us to understand and appreciate the fact that recoveries are not very smooth. And when recoveries are not very smooth, we have to be ready for the rough edges. So we have to teach our students about confounding variables, about variables that are purely externalities, about variables that we cannot predict. The final point that I would like to make is that I personally am extremely proud of our faculty today. You know, people like you, what you did last year was nothing short of a miracle. Overnight in March 2020, we told you that from tomorrow, colleges will be closed. Students will not come to class. And you will have to transform yourself from classroom lecturers to lecturers on Zoom and Google Meet. It was the most challenging task. It was the most difficult task. But lo and behold, all of you took it up almost overnight. You know, you converted your lectures into electronic meeting, converted your presentations into presentations that could be done over the net, that could be done over slow internet or poor bandwidth, and could be administered to students who are far and few between. And to do that at such a short notice was nothing short of a miracle. And over the last year, particularly, our faculty has come up and taken this burden extremely wonderfully. Not all of us had great fancy laptops and desktops to work on. Not everybody had access to great bandwidth. Most of us were working on smartphones, on very poor smartphones. And on that, we were able to convert our pedagogy into something that we had never been ready for. And then to evaluate our students using this new technique was another miracle. I must therefore congratulate all of you for that. And I must say, as the final advice, that I would encourage all of you to continue to do this, to continue to ensure that all the delivery that we have, all the content that we have is now available both in physical form and in the virtual form. This will allow institutions like yours to become truly global institutions. And this will allow us to have a far greater exposure to our students than they ever had. That is the sum and substance for what I wanted to tell you today. That the management education has changed. It has changed, I think, for the better. B, management education needs to be ethical and moral and needs to be driven by the changing demands of industry. C, management education has to lead the way. It is not something that should simply follow market forces. And finally, that all faculty who have worked wonderfully well last year to transform themselves into electronic faculty, into virtual faculty, must continue to do that and must continue to generate content that can be shared across the world. My best wishes to all of you. My sincere thanks for this absolutely wonderful conference. And my congratulations to the chairman, Masha Mohyuddin Sahab, wonderful man that he is, and all of you at the college who are doing such a wonderful job during such difficult times. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. We will remember your valuable insights, sir, and try to maintain and implement new normal in management education, sir. Now I invite Mrs. J. Jayalakshmi for vote of thanks.
All good things has to come an end, so is the seminar. On behalf of Lord's Institute of Engineering and Technology, I take this privilege to express my gratitude to all the esteemed dignitaries of two-day international e-seminar for their presence and contribution to make this a grand success. I extend my gratitude to our Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Barrister Shamim Haider Patwari, Member of Parliament, Bangladesh, Professor Amirullah Khan, Professor MC RHRDI of Government of Telangana, to take out his time from his busy schedule to grace the event. I extend my sincere gratitude to the guest of honor, Professor Sri Ramlu, Dean College Development Council, Professor R. Nageshwar Rao, HOD Business Management, Osmania University, for their inspiring and encouraging words on this special day. I would like to thank our distinguished resource person of the seminar for 2 days, Professor Bholanath Datta, Professor Kakub Azim, Professor Bediuddin Ahmed, Professor Ravinder Rena, and Professor Shaukat Ali for making an excellent presentation and making this seminar very meaningful and interesting. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the management, Mr. Basha Mohiddin, Chairman, Mr. Syed Tausif Ahmed, Vice Chairman, Mrs. Rizwana Begum, Secretary, for their motivation and providing us a platform to conduct the e-seminar. A special thanks to Dr. C.V. Narsimlu, Principal of LIT, for providing immense support to make this seminar successful. I extend my gratitude to Dr. Syed Azam Pasha Kadri, Vice Principal, all Deans, HODs of LIT, for their valuable time and presence. I would like to thank Dr. Syed Hamid Kadri, HOD MBA, who initiated to organize this seminar even amidst the pandemic. I must thank the organizing team, volunteers, and all the people who have worked hard for the past few days to make this seminar a success. Thank you everyone once again for making it a grand success. With these warm words and kind message, we move to the end of today's seminar. Thank you all. Now I would request all to stand up for the national anthem. म्यूजिक उन्दी ना सर आपके पास है नेशनल play
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Yeah. Thank you all.
Yeah, you have done wonderful things. I really appreciate the entire department. All the wonderful leadership of Amir.